Hey guys, it's Max. Welcome to another video. I am currently on my way to a client meeting and I wanted to share some tips with you guys for your client meetings. Before we get started, I apologize about maybe some shakiness or bumpiness in the video, background noise, the lighting that's changing, stuff like that. Obviously, I'm in a car driving. With that said, I hope that these tips help you guys out, help you to book more jobs, get to work on more projects. If they do help you, please hit that like button, subscribe for more videos, and share this video with your friends, other filmmakers on groups and forums, stuff like that. Tip number one is to actually have a meeting with your client. Now, obviously you're watching this video to see how you could do a better job, or maybe you're just watching it for fun. But culture has actually shifted in the last few years where brides and other clients are fine with just emailing back and forth, paying and signing a contract online, and being done with it. When I got into the wedding industry, I had meetings with most of my brides. It was kind of like a standard thing. Nowadays, when you're not having a meeting, it's actually a negative for you. So think of it this way. If a bride contacts 5 videographers and 2 of them just email her back, one of them or 2 insists on getting on the phone and talking, and 1 kind of convinces them to have a meeting, the chances of you getting booked if you're the one that has a meeting are much higher, because when you meet in person, you get to know each other better. It feels a lot more personal. They feel like they could trust you. You can establish trust with them, and overall, your booking ratio is much higher if you have a meeting. So most people that I talk to, when they have a meeting, most of the time they end up booking that client. And when you're just emailing back and forth, the booking ratio is much lower. Because of that, you want to have a meeting with every client. Now, so obviously, if people are okay with not having meetings, you kind of have to encourage them to have a meeting. So how do you do that? Well, obviously you have to ask them, but if you want your chances of actually meeting them to be much higher, you kind of have to phrase it in a way to insist it. So instead of just saying, hey, if you would like to have a meeting, we can meet up for some coffee or at Starbucks. If you say it that way, there's a good chance of like, well, it's fine, we don't need to, or something like that. But the way you should be phrasing it is, when is a good time for us to have a meeting? I'd love to buy you a coffee. Now, this is what I do. Then it basically gives them the impression that this is a normal, standard type of thing. They should be doing it, and they're already in the mindset of not, should I do it, should I not, should I use my time wisely, or should I waste time on this when I don't need to, but when am I available? So phrase it that way you'll get a lot more meetings, and with more meetings, you're gonna get more bookings. Tip number 2, and this is the obvious one, is to be presentable and be on time. I'm going to combine these. I don't want to do these separately because it's kind of a no-brainer, but I do have to mention it. So you don't want to go to a meeting with dirty clothes, wrinkled clothes, looking bad, your hair's all messed up, you're not shaved or trimmed. If you have a beard, I like to keep mine short, because that just implies that you're careless. You don't want to take care of yourself. So how are you going to care about their project or their wedding and do a good job with it? Same thing with being late. Now this, I got to be honest, I have a hard time with being late. I'm always trying to do things last minute, spend my time wisely. So you want to leave and get there early. Like, say, for example, a coffee shop. You want to arrive there early, get your laptop so you can get some work done so you're not wasting your time, but it's good to be there before the client is. If you show up late, it's going to give the person the impression that you don't care, you didn't care to leave early enough, and that just reflects poorly on you because you're not taking care of things the way they should be. Along with that, I like to buy my client coffee, like you guys heard in tip number 1. And with that too, you want to phrase it the correct way. You don't want to say, hey, can I buy you a coffee? Because a lot of people, out of politeness, will just say, oh no, it's okay, I can get it myself, or something like that. So you want to phrase it, and the way I do is I just say, hey, what kind of coffee do you like? Most likely they're going to understand that you're going to buy them a coffee, and especially after I phrased it earlier. So when I check up with them, a couple hours before the meeting, I ask them what kind of coffee you like. That way I can have it ready for them when they arrive. People really enjoy that. I enjoy that when somebody buys me a coffee, and that just makes it a lot more, it helps build kind of friendship in the relationship, not just business where you show up, you're trying to get their money, but a more personal kind of connection. So don't be late, be there early, look good, be presentable, and buy them coffee if you want to. Tip number 3 is to have confidence when you arrive and during the client meeting. Now, this is really, I think, really important, and I have a hard time with this as well, and I'll share some tips with you guys. But if you arrive to the client meeting and you're very shy, you're not confident, you just kind of put off this mood that you don't know what you're doing, and you don't believe in yourself, so why should the client believe in you? But when you arrive with confidence and you know that you can do a good job for them, they're going to be happy with the work. You can produce what they want. You're confident in your abilities, in what you've done in the past, and you just have this kind of a presence when you walk in. And I'm not talking about like arrogance, but you know that you can deliver. You know what you're talking about, and you feel good about yourself and what you could do for them, and that you can do a good job serving them. The client sees that, and they feel like, and they can sense that you know what you're doing, that you're going to be able to deliver on, you know, what they want, and they're going to have more trust in you because of that. So that's very important. I'm an introvert, so a lot of times going to meetings and social places, I get a little bit of anxiety. I don't feel confident. I feel and start thinking about like, what if I mess up? What if I say the wrong thing? Stuff like that, and that starts running into my mind. So I got to push that out. A couple tips with that is, if you like watching motivational speakers or different things like that, there's a lot of videos on YouTube. You start listening to that and those kind of words, and at least it kind of changes your mindset. You start thinking positively, your confidence level goes up, and if you feel a bit not confident in your work, that maybe other people do a much better job than you, and I think most artists kind of get this from time to time, maybe some more than others, but what I would suggest doing, and what I like to do, is go back to some of your favorite films or albums or photographs, whatever you do. Take a look at some of your favorite work, the work you're most proud of. Take that in and remember, you know, and see what you're capable of producing, the kind of quality you can put out, and that you're able to do this. You have these skills and abilities, and that's going to just get your morale up. So when you go and meet with the client, you know that you're capable of doing this and producing what they want you to do. So I think that's very important. Tip number 4 is not to be arrogant. Don't be overconfident. Now, you need confidence. You need to present that you know what you're doing, that they can trust you, that they can trust in your abilities. But you can't just come in like a know-it-all and just, you know, saying, don't worry about it, I got it. You know, don't even ask me questions about what I could do. And people can sense that like crazy well. I mean, people are so good at sensing when somebody's lying or they're trying to fake it, or, you know, the famous thing, fake it till you make it. When you come off that way, people are just going to think that you're a liar, and they're not going to trust in you. You're going to lose trust in the client, and there's a good chance you might not be booked. So for example, if they ask you a question and you're not sure how to answer it, or a specific thing about their project, be honest and let them know, hey, you know, I'm not sure about that, but I will figure it out. Or for example, if it's an audio question that you're really strong in filmmaking but not in audio, say, hey, I have a friend that we can hire for this job if you actually do, or I'll find out how to do that, or the piece of gear we need to figure out the specific effect or look, and you'll get back to them. So that does a couple things. When they see that you're honest with them, they're going to trust in you more. And then when you come back and you figure it out or answer the question, they're going to see that you have problem-solving skills, that even if you don't know how to do something, you'll be capable of figuring it out. And on top of that, you don't want to come in being overconfident and say, hey, don't worry about this, I'll take care of it. You know, if you just say something like that and don't even want to hear out their kind of things they're worried about the project, then they might just listen to you, but they're still going to have that little bit of feeling inside that, hey, what if this part of the video doesn't go correctly? When you can figure it out and get back to them and solve the problem, that's going to kind of settle it inside of them, I guess, if they have a worry about their specific video project, for example, here. And they'll feel better and they'll trust you more. Tip number 5 is, don't just talk about business and make it strictly about that. People don't just hire you because you're good at making films or taking photos. People like to hire somebody that they like, that they have a connection with, that they feel friendly, or that is or could be a friend of theirs. So when you go in to do a meeting, like I said, buy them a coffee. This kind of ties into this too. I just factor that into my costs of doing business or customer acquisition cost. After the project, I like to send out like a thank you letter with a Starbucks gift card to be more friendly and not just be about, hey, I want to come with you, I want to meet, I want to get your money and do the project, and that's it. So along with that, when you're talking to them, don't just talk about business. Don't just come in and say, hey, what's this project like? Let's talk about this. Come in, be friendly, ask them how their day is going. If you know a little bit of information about their family, or for example, we just had 4th of July, ask about what they did. Try to build a connection in that way. And another thing that's important is don't just talk about yourself when you're talking about this. I know in awkward situations it's easier to say, hey, this is what happened with me, this is what I'm doing, because obviously you know yourself, you probably don't know them very well. But people like talking about themselves. People like expressing themselves, and they like it when they know that you're listening, and that you know, when you're listening, it shows that you care about them. So ask them questions, give them a chance to talk, and try to build a personal connection. So for example, with a bride, ask about how they met, ask about how the planning is going, ask about their honeymoon. Make it a lot more personal than just business. Obviously you're going to figure out the business stuff, but if they feel like they have a personal connection with you, if they like you, your chances of getting booked is higher. And then obviously you're a better person if you do that too. All right, guys, so tip number 6 is, after the actual client meeting, write down important things from the meeting. Now, this seems kind of like a no-brainer, but a lot of times you're talking, you're answering questions, especially if you're still kind of uncomfortable with them. You're trying to keep the conversation going, so you're not just sitting there taking notes about different things. But a lot of times when you have a meeting, they might ask for something specific, maybe something you typically don't do, or you promise them something, like for example, and coming 15 minutes earlier, or shooting a specific way, or maybe a client will ask if they can choose the music themselves, or we like to choose the music for our wedding films ourselves, but we offer to send it to them. If this is kind of a concern, we'll send them the song first so they can listen over to it and improve it. So if you promise something, or something that's important, anything like that, write that down right after the meeting, because it may be a month, 2 months, 3 months before you talk to them, or 6 months before you finalize that, and you're going to forget that. So after the meeting, wherever you write your information about your client, I like to use spreadsheets, write that down, like, hey, I promised her I'll give her an extra USB drive for free, or I promised to do this, or they would like this specific thing, or making sure that we don't forget this. And then next time you're going to have a phone conversation, a meeting, or email, you can glance over that, kind of remember those important things, or if you promise them something, and obviously they're going to see that you remembered all that and that you care. So that's another big tip. All right, guys, so it's time for me to go meet with the bride and make use of these tips. Hopefully they have been helpful to you. If they have, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe if you guys want to see more videos like this one. And make sure to enable those notifications, so it's either a gear icon or a little bell, because YouTube has been filtering out videos in your subscription tab. So if you guys don't want to miss them, hit those notifications. And of course, share this video with a friend or another filmmaker on social media or in forums, groups, stuff like that, if you think it's going to help them out. Thank you for watching. If you guys have any questions, ask in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them, and I will see you in the next video.